think the term distrust is a great way to frame the state of the relationship, because I think that there is distrust in the community, and rightfully so, because there's just a lengthy history of police being overly present in the lives of Black people when it comes to stopping and questioning Black people, when it comes to incidents of use of force, whether they're excessive or justifiable. It over time, I think, has grown into a really deep and genuine concern that a lot of Black people all over North America, but including in Ontario, have about police officers. Certainly, I would say, even from personal experience, I grew up with feeling a lot of tension between myself and cops, and it made for quite a lot of discomfort. And I think it is a defeating experience in some ways too, because it makes you feel less part of your society and less welcomed here. It's an absolutely serious issue. The important thing to note, I think, though, is that just as there is a history of police officers being overly present in the lives of Black people, there's also a history of police officers not being present enough. And if you look over the course of the last few decades, there have been many moments in history in Ontario and Canada and in the United States where Black communities said, we want cops to keep our children safe. We need more law enforcement. We need police officers to make sure that I can send my son to school and not worry whether he's going to come back or not. So both of those things then create a tension, right? Where on one hand, we want to say we need the police to keep Black communities who are disproportionately exposed to gang violence and other forms of crime. We need to keep them safe, because the vast majority of people in the Black community are law-abiding people who just want to make a contribution to our society and be able to raise their kids in a safe and healthy environment. So we want to be able to offer that to the Black community, but at the same time, we need to recognize that policing can go too far in the other direction, where you have practices like carding or a lack of community connection between some officers, which leads to stereotyping and profiling. So it's a difficult balance between those two imperatives. And as a person who works in Black communities, who has lived in Black communities, who has grown up in Black communities, I know that tension very well personally. And I think many Black people in our province understand that tension as well, which is why I think it's always important that when we talk about the Black community, we understand that there's quite a lot of diversity within that community in terms of what people are hoping the government will do in order to give their children the best chance at a fair and safe and healthy life in our province.